Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'm going to be doing a first impressions video of Matsurika no Kei. Now this game is only available in Japanese at the moment, but I'm low-key hoping that it'll maybe get a localization. But before I start, note that although I would not consider any of what I include in this video as spoilers, I'm aware that what you consider spoilers and what I consider spoilers may not quite align. So if you're even a little bit sensitive and you don't even want to know what the characters look like, for example, then I would swiftly move on. Also, I would like to thank all of those who have supported me in tips, Patreons, Ko-fis. It really means a lot to me. Also note that I have been kind of pumping out more Patreon exclusive content for those who are interested. I have put the link down below. Also, I would like to thank all of those who have boosted my server. That means a lot as well. But anyway, I think that's it. Let me start. So firstly, the synopsis. Matsurika no Kei is like an Asian historical fantasy kind of Otome game. It's set in this world where the main character lives in this village deep up in the mountains, and there are several rules actually. It is that, you know, they aren't allowed, none of the villagers are allowed to leave for however long, and they are also not allowed to have relations with outsiders, because if they give birth to a baby that is half from someone who's the villager and half from elsewhere, then they're considered to be I think Tao is what they call it, and that baby is thought to bring really bad, like, misfortune essentially. And there's something interesting about this village in that the god that resides in this village is thought to dislike fire, so the only way they can have fire in the village is by getting some from down in the main village down below. And in order to do so, what they do is exchange these gems that can only be found in this village up high in the mountains, and they exchange those gems with fire, which this merchant Luwo comes every 3 months, I believe, and they exchange, and that's how they have the fire. Now the main character plays a key role because she has these eyes called the Keigan, and that's why she's got the pretty blue and red eye thing going on. And these eyes of hers are very special. They have the ability to appraise and find these gems that are so desperately needed to exchange for that fire. So she's quite valuable, and that Keigan only gets passed down through family. So yeah, it's all very fantastical and very Asian and historical fiction, and I really like it. Now let me talk about the heroine. So she is your typical damsel in distress type character. She's super cute, she's adorable, you know, bearing in mind that this is a historical fiction based in Asia type Otome game. Obviously there are these traditional gender roles, and she's very feminine, and she's very like housewifey, and I mean, you know, in the village it's kind of like being a woman means that your job is to have children. Like, it's very traditional in that sense given historical fiction. So that's the kind of character she is. To be honest, I don't relate to her in the values, obviously, because that's a very old-fashioned way of thinking, but I personally relate more to the main characters who are kind of, I guess, the waifu types, just purely because I am not the most independent woman personality, if you know what I mean. So I personally feel like I can relate more to the main characters who are fluffy, feminine, are more than happy to be rescued and help the, you know, love interests in their own kind of way, not necessarily by fighting or, you know, that sort of thing. So I personally relate to that, and that's kind of the main character she is. Moving on to the characters, the love interests, there are 6 of them. So you've got Luwo, who is the merchant. He's got blonde hair, he's really pretty, he's charming, the ladies love him, and he comes to the village every 3 months, and yeah, he's your kind of typical player character. Then you've got Zebenera, who is this, I call him husband material because he's so like masculine but gentle and caring, and I mean, he's the kudere character of the game. He's very quiet, but like I do really like him. I did forget to mention that this is a first impressions video. I am basing it on Luwo and Zebenera roots. I haven't played all of them. Bear that in mind. Sorry, I forgot to mention it. But anyway, yeah, Zebenera is the husband material. Then you've got Faye, who is a childhood friend of the main character. He is very caring, very protective. I guess you could, yeah, call him a classic childhood character, and he, I believe, is the poster boy. Then you've got Seirin, who is this like very fluffy, I don't know, innocent, kind of sheltered. I guess he is the crown prince of the main village. So, you know, there's something in, like, I don't know. I think I'm most looking forward to his route, actually. He just seems very fluffy. I've never come across a love interest so fluffy, and that's kind of the vibe he gives off. Then you've got his bodyguard, Enrai, who is like the polar opposite. Looks-wise, he looks a bit too young for me, but weirdly he's, I think, the oldest love interest, I can't remember. And he gives off this kind of very aggressive, in a good way, kind of. I'm really looking forward to him in terms of personality, but he is a bodyguard and teacher of Seirin, and he's probably, I'm guessing he's probably one of those characters that knows how horrible the world is, and I don't know. I am looking forward to him. I feel like his route's gonna have a lot of drama. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get. Last but not least is the secret love interest. I'm afraid I can't say anything about him because I don't know what he is or who he is or when he appears. I think he appeared like this much in the common route, but otherwise, no idea. I guess we'll find out when I play his route. But anyway, moving on to my personal expectations of like where I rank them so far based on the little bit I've played. So I would place Seirin at the top because his fluffiness kind of, I don't know, I'm intrigued. Followed by Enrai. Like, I'm not that into his appearance, but like his personality in the common route, I'm a bit curious. Then I've got Zebenera, the husband material leader of the wolf clan. Then I've got Luwo, who's the merchant, and then Faye at the bottom. I don't know, I'm curious about Faye, but like, I guess I think the reason why Luwo and Faye are more to the bottom is because they are tropes that I've kind of come across quite a bit. But yeah, so that's my like pre-playing kind of ranking. I have played a couple, maybe those will shift a little bit based on how their routes are, but I guess we'll find out when I make my fully fledged review video, whenever that may be. But based on the couple of routes that I have played, these are my ratings. So you've got pacing, I gave it about a 3 out of 5. I think depending on the route, there's probably going to be like a variety, but I think personally I feel like it goes quite quickly because there is a lot of drama, and I think the romance so far for the two routes I've played, which is Luwo and Zebenera, have been like sweet and nice enough that it makes me want to keep on reading. Which brings me to the romance. I would say that's a 4 out of 5. Given that the context is like this Asian historical fiction and, you know, women having their roles as child bearers almost. There's a lot of romance there, I would say, and I don't know, I really like it. So there's like spice as well, so that's really exciting because I don't know, I feel like games recently there haven't been many spicy ones on the Switch releases, so that I'm pretty happy about. Plot, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I would say this game is probably more of a character development type game as opposed to plot, saying that obviously the plot tends to be more in the like secret love interest or the truth routes. I can't really comment on that, but so far the two routes I've played have focused more on the characters and their backstories and the world building more so than there being like an overarching plot. So I would give it like a 3 out of 5. It's fun, but like I wouldn't expect, you know, full-on thorough plot. But again, I may change my mind on that rating when I make my fully fledged review video. And then you've got characters. I'd say a 3 out of 5. In this game, you don't get to meet the characters that much in the common route. Honestly, I barely know anything about Seirin or Enrai or the secret love interest, or like the only reason I even know about Zebenera is because I've gone down his route. Like, you learn so little about most of the love interests in the common route that I really can't comment, but based on the ones I have experienced so far, I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5 maybe. I'm really enjoying them. They're not necessarily exceptionally unique, but they all make me, like, they bring out about an emotion. I'm enjoying the love interest, that sort of thing, if that makes sense. Overall, I am really enjoying this game. I would give it maybe like an 8 out of 10. Obviously, this is subject to change. Who knows? There may be a couple of routes that are awful and I'm like, what is this? Or there may be a couple of routes that are breathtaking and all of a sudden I'm like, it's a 9 or a 10 game, which is very rare, but you never know. But so far I haven't been bored, which is really good. Maybe I'm slowly getting out of my Otome burnout, but like, it's been a fun ride. I guess I just like lots of things happening in a route, whether it be like happy or sad. Like, it needs to be like this for a game to maintain, like, grab my attention and hold it. So I guess this game kind of successfully does that. Yes, there are kind of things people are saying about, you know, the main character is so traditional, damsel distress, and like la la la. But I guess as someone who comes from Japan and, you know, the context is very much Asian historical fiction, like that is so key to remember. I'm just really enjoying it, to be honest. Yeah. Now, who would I and would I not recommend this game to? I would recommend it to those who are like me and enjoy the damsel in distress main characters. She is so sweet. She's not annoyingly reckless or anything like that. She just tries to help in her own way, and I really appreciate that. I'd also recommend it if you're into historical fiction and kind of like the Asian fantasy genre. I feel like we don't get that many Asian fantasy, or at least we haven't recently, so, you know, it's nice to be able to play a game that's kind of more on that side, because we do get like more Western ones, but at least maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, but that's the feeling I get, at least for Switch releases anyway. And yeah, so if you're into that, then this is perfect. If you like fantasy, of course, I recommend this game as well. If you're looking for, you know, more romance, character development, at least the routes I've played so far has been focusing on that. And, you know, I think that I always prefer games that are kind of like romance with story on the side. So, well, that's not true. The story is very key, but the amount of romance matters, and this has a decent amount of romance as well as spice, which leads me to the last point, which is if you're looking for spice, then I also recommend this game, because some of the scenes you're like, oh, okay, that's nice, that's rare. So very exciting. Okay, I need to calm down. Now, moving on to those I would not recommend this game to. I would not recommend it at all if you're the type that really likes independent boss babes, because I'm really sorry, this main character really is like the epitome of damsel in distress, the kind that I like. So if you like characters like Lily, you'll probably like this, you know, main character. But if you like characters like Teuta or Shanna from Birushana, or, you know, the ones that fight for themselves or have a strong sense of, I don't know, the more modern or like the gender bender type main characters, then this may not be for you, because yeah, she's just the complete opposite of that. Also, if you really struggle with any sort of traditional gender roles and like all of that concept, like, do bear in mind this is a historical fiction and an Asian fantasy historical fiction, no less. So, you know, you're going to get that in it. Like, it can't really be helped. If it didn't have it in this, it wouldn't really be historical fiction, like that sort of thing. So if, regardless of context, those kind of things really bother you and annoy you, then yeah, definitely avoid this game, because there is a lot of that. Also, I would not recommend it to those who are looking for kind of more contemporary or more relatable setting. Like, you know, if you're looking for office love or high school romance or something that's happening more in this day and age, or a more relatable setting, then I would also not recommend this, because this is very, very like fantasy / historical fiction. But I think that's about it. If there are any questions, leave it as a comment below. As always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!